welcome into Tuesday, everyone, and happy Halloween. Just a couple of days early. So you can see I'm standing in front of my nicely decorated witch store here at Skills for Kids. So again, I'm Shannon with Skills for Kids, and today for our Tuesday tips, with Halloween being so close, we wanted to go through a few Halloween tips for parents as they're going to be going out in a few nights taking their kids out trick-or-treating, or maybe you have older kids that are going to be going out without you and you're going to be not really breathing very well until they're back in, right? So wanted to go through a few of those. We hear all kinds of Halloween tips every year, and a lot of them are the exact same because we hear them so much. Either we're just not listening much anymore or we sort of tune them out. So what I really tried to do is put together a few tips that I feel like maybe... You want to come over here, Natalie? You want to be on the video with me? No? So, bless her little heart. You sure you don't want to be? You can be in here with the witch? No? No? Okay. Guess I see where I stand. But I tried to put together just a few tips that maybe we don't hear as often. So, it just may help us prepare for the night and have it to where it's not quite as stressful. So, number one, plan your route in advance. And I really never would have thought about this one quite as much, but if you're going to be going to neighborhoods that's not your neighborhood, and it could be fairly easy to get lost or not realize quite how far you will actually be walking. So we can have sore feet, legs get tired, little kids get tired. We end up having to carry the ones that are too little to walk that far, and then the frustration starts to build, and all of a sudden the night that was supposed to be a nice fun night is stressful and frustrating because we just didn't really realize quite how far we were going to be walking. So yeah, most phones have GPS. There's GPS on just about everything now, and know exactly how long you will be walking. And if you have any people who are familiar with the neighborhoods, ask, is it hilly, is it flat, you know, how is it? Are there good sidewalks? Are we going to be walking along the side of the road, some on grass, some on the road, that thing, just so that you know in advance and you can sort of prepare for that. And if you do have older ones that are going to be going out as well, maybe without parents, again, please advise them to do the same thing. Look at where you will be going. With them, they're younger, they don't worry about that as much. However, we should worry about, are they going to end up in an area that maybe is not quite as safe as some others? So that's the reason they would want to sort of plan out that route and know where they're going, so they can know, where do we not want to go, where do we not want to end up. We want to stay with others. Obviously, since we're talking about the older kids, we really want to encourage them, stay with the group. Safety in numbers. Don't be the one that hangs back and something happens because you're hanging or you're walking by yourself. Please, please, please go over with your kids as well that it really is not funny to pull a prank and leave somebody by themselves, because the best intended prank can end in tragedy or somebody getting hurt, and it not being meant at all, but maybe they think it's funny to leave somebody by themselves that's a scarier child or that doesn't like being alone by themselves, and something happens and somebody gets hurt. Then everybody's going to feel bad. So let's just go over that with our kids, even though they may roll their eyes and, oh, Mom, why are you telling me all this? It's okay. It's just a reminder for them, and believe me, even though they roll their eyes and everything else, they do listen. And let them know that it's okay to be the one that stands up to the whole group that says, no, that's not a good idea. We don't want to leave anybody by themselves because we don't want anybody getting hurt. And even if you are a parent that's going out with smaller children, again, try to go in numbers. Try to have 2 or 3 of you that are going together, because then as the adults, you can watch all of the kids. So maybe one of you can take kids walks closer to the edge of the sidewalk to make sure the kids are not running into the road. If there's a child who's scared of a particular house, there could be a parent that stays back with the ones that are a little bit scared of that particular house. So again, it just makes your life easier if you have the opportunity to go with some other parents as well, and you all sort of assign specific jobs And shoes, shoes, and shoes. You see, my shoes are nice and comfortable for today because we are planning, my jeans are even nice and comfy. We are planning for our Halloween party for tonight here at Skills for Kids. Shoes. A lot of the costumes, the kids will want to wear, you know, pretty heels or combat boots or whatever it may be that goes with the costume. It does not take long before your feet really start to hurt. And the younger they are, the more they're going to whine. They're not going to want the shoes on their feet anymore. So if you're going to let them wear the shoes that they have for their outfit, make your life easier. Throw some comfy shoes in a bag and take those along with you so that they can change shoes. You wear comfy shoes, wear your tennis shoes, wear what you carry most everything anyway, right? So just make sure that you do that. And make sure as well, for the older kids, try to remind them, Halloween is not a night that, you know, looking pretty has to be over, you know, your safety and the shoes that you wear for your feet for the night. With the costumes, try really hard for no mask. No mask for a couple of reasons. Number one, it can impair your vision, and you never know on Halloween. Is it going to be hot? Is it going to be cold? Is it going to be a little bit of both? Especially here in North Carolina, what's the saying? If you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes and it'll change. So you never really know. But it can also impair your vision, so you can't see as well. They could trip. Any of those types of things, regardless of whether it's an older child or a younger child. And with the state of today, with all of the mass shootings and the kidnappings that happen and everything, people are more afraid if they have masks and an adult sees them and thinks that they're acting in any suspicious manner, be it warranted or unwarranted, they're more likely to call the police. That's likely to cause a lot of stress for the child and a lot of stress for you. They can also unintentionally really scare some people if they have on masks, especially depending on what type of mask it is. So talk to your kids that, you know, the Halloween face paint would be much more appropriate than a mask and is much safer than a mask as well. Candy. This is the one that I think a lot of kids don't really pay attention to, and sometimes parents may not. You can go on the internet. I went on the internet just a few minutes ago researching. I found articles from here to here on the candy. One article said no one has ever been harmed from a parent not checking candy. No candy has ever harmed a child that was given out on Halloween. Two, yeah, I found an article. I believe I have it mentioned in here. Let's see. Yes, it was last year. WRAL reported that a 12-year-old child had been injured from sewing needles that had been put in candy. So you have a barrage of information out there. Use your own instinct and just take an opportunity to check that candy. But what is it that you're trying to find? What are you looking for? Candy that's already been opened and rewrapped? Candy that's not in a wrapper? Anything that's homemade, be it homemade candy, homemade popcorn, homemade candy apples, homemade anything, is you were friends with them, it's your family, whatever. That's probably not the best idea to take anything that's homemade. If anything is not in a wrapper, that's not anything that you want to take. And as you are going through the candy, and as with everything else, what I say is use your instinct. If it doesn't feel safe, it's probably not safe. Do not be afraid to trust yourself when it comes to your children, things that you are allowing them to do for Halloween candy, that you're allowing them to eat. And please, please, please remember, the kids don't always think about this. They're excited over the candy. So make sure they remember mom, dad, older sister, aunt, uncle, whoever, somebody needs to check that candy and go through the candy bucket before they eat the candy. One of the things that I wanted to leave you with, I started looking up statistics on the number of children who are hurt at Halloween, just to see if we are overreacting to Halloween in some of the things. So, like I said, I did find the one article from WRAL where last year, yes, a child was injured. It was in Rowan County last year, and it was an 11-year-old that was charged with planting the sewing needles in the candy and injured a 12-year-old. The National Safety Council has some information out about Halloween and some facts where children can be harmed at Halloween, and this is a little bit of a scary statistic here. Children are more than twice as likely to be hit by a car and killed on Halloween than any other day of the year. In 2017, October ranked number 2 in motor vehicle deaths by the month. So comparing month to month. July was number, it had 3,700 deaths. October of 2017, 3,700 deaths. July was number 1 with 3,830 deaths. So, watch your child. Unless you are in a neighborhood where they literally close down the streets so people can walk through the streets. Even though the kids go, Mom, I'm too old. Mom, I don't need your hand. Mom, I don't need this. Dad, I don't need that. Grandma, I don't need this. That's great. Let them think what they want. Have safety in place. Don't let them dart out into the roads, because it is very unsafe for them to do that. So I do hope these things do help you have a stress-free Halloween, a non-frustrating Halloween, and a safe Halloween as far as very fun. So the last thing I want to leave you with is we're having a free Halloween party tonight at Skills for Kids. Anyone is welcome. We're calling it our zombie party. We have games for the kids to play. We're going to have a free fun martial arts class. We have trophies. Oh, let me show you the trophies. A costume contest. These are the trophies for the costume contest. So we have 4 age groups. Miss Jessica, who is holding the phone, will correct me if I'm wrong. I think we have 0 to 5, 6 to
11.
6 to 11. You can tell I don't know. I didn't make a category age groups, so she did. 6 to 11, 12 to 16, and then 17 plus. So yes, adults, you can wear your costumes and be in the party as well and win a trophy. So I think it's kind of cute myself. Feel free to come on out, and we hope to see everybody tonight.